Hello and welcome. Here we are looking at General Awareness Class Assignment Part 2. As you can see already, we will be looking at the warm-up exercise. So let's just quickly get started. General Awareness Class Assignment Part 2 of course focuses on brands, taglines, because remember, for most of your entrances you will get a lot of questions related to brands and taglines, right? So just as a part of the warm-up exercise, let's just look at the warm-up exercise. Otherwise, like I said, the second assignment would be looking at brands and their taglines. It's basically trying to gauge, are you aware about the products that you're using? Are you aware about who are the manufacturers of the products? Are you genuinely interested to know how businesses are probably getting established, how they're growing, how they're dealing with diversified products? All these things are very important, particularly if you want to study BMS, particularly if you're looking at taking a BBA course, particularly if you're looking at getting selected for a bachelor's that is into business administration or management studies. This particular general awareness topic becomes very important. And otherwise also we've seen questions related to brand awarenesses usually are asked. But nonetheless, in this brief video, we're just looking at the warm-up exercise questions. There are about first 15 questions that you see in the class assignment. Those are the questions that we will be covering. Okay, so let's just quickly get started and dive into the first question that you can see. Supreme Court judges retire upon attaining the age of. Remember, we said that the guardian or the custodian of the constitution is the president. प्रेसिडेंट एक ऐसा व्यक्ति होता है बच्चे जो कि हमें हमारी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को प्रोटेक्ट करता है. बट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट फंडामेंटल राइट्स, द सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज द कस्टोडियन ऑफ फंडामेंटल राइट्स. सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जो जजेस होते हैं, they retire after attaining the age of 65. All right, so the Supreme Court judges retire at the age of 65. 65 is the age where a Supreme Court judge retires. All right, please remember this. What was the main feature of the Indus Valley civilization? Remember, we had spoken in the history class, and we'd said that in ancient India, Indus Valley civilization, Vedic literature, a little bit about your other empires which are coming in, they are important. Please remember, Indus Valley civilization, which is also called the Harappan civilization, from 2500 to 1750 BC. This particular, remember we had said that Indus Valley civilization, proto-historic period, proto-historic because no written record is available. This period is also called the Bronze Age because metals were discovered. Please remember, Indus Valley civilization, we discussed at that time, these people were urban people. The Indus Valley civilization people were urban people, whereas the Vedic literature period, the Aryans were rural, pastoral people. So yahan par you need to remember that the correct answer is town planning. The main feature of the Indus Valley civilization or the Harappan civilization, because Harappa was the first site which we found, and Rakhigiri is a site in Hisar which is now considered to be the largest site of the Indus Valley civilization. So please remember, this becomes extremely crucial, this becomes extremely important, that the main feature of the Indus Valley civilization was town planning. Okay, what was it? It was town planning. Please remember this. All right, the Indus Valley civilization, also called the Harappan civilization, this particular civilization, the major sites that we have: Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, you've got Kalibangan, Lothal. These are all important sites that you can keep in mind. And point one, as you can see, personal cleanliness, town planning. Town planning was one of the major features of the Indus Valley civilization. Okay, please remember this. Okay, even Mohenjo-daro has the finest bath facilities, drainage systems, personal hygiene. Okay, and of course, like I said, town planning is a very important feature of the Indus Valley civilization. The second atom bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. Please remember, on August 6th, okay, on August 6th, when you're talking about August 6, 1945, is when the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, and on 9th August 1945, the bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So this was an atom bomb that America, the United States of America, had dropped on two important places in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Hiroshima was on August 6th and Nagasaki was on August 9th. Okay, 9th of August. Please remember this. The second atom bomb dropped on Nagasaki was on August 9, 1945. August 9, 1945. Alright. So August 9, 1945, US dropped atomic bomb on Nagasaki. Alright, do keep this in mind. First it was Hiroshima. 1945, August 6th of August. Alright, this killed a lot of people, of course. This was a horrible act that was committed by the United States. And of course, on 9th August 1945, they had dropped the bomb on Nagasaki. So Hiroshima was on 6th of August, 9th of August was Nagasaki. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So it was HN, alright. प्लीज़ रिमेंबर दिस. आजकल आपका वायरसेस की बात चल रही है तो H1N1 आप याद रख सकते हैं. सो H पहले है. हिरोशिमा was on 6th of August, Nagasaki was on 9th of August. Okay, do remember this. This is an important part, especially when you're talking about modern history. ISO 9000 ISO 9000 क्या है बच्चे? ISO 9000 is a quality standard mark. It is a quality standard mark so that you can ensure that you're buying proper products. So it's a quality standard mark. Okay, it's a quality standard mark when you talk about ISO 9000. When you talk about ISO 9000, ये आपके products में होता है. अगर ISO mark है तो you know that this particular product is of standard. It's of proper value. Okay, तो ISO क्या है? This is an international standard that's there for quality management and quality assurance. You also need to remember that this can actually help a company satisfy its customers, right, and meet the regulatory demand and regulatory requirements. This is very important. Okay, so this is what you need to remember about ISO 9000. Moving on to the next question. Dr. Shrikant Basi is the founder and chairman of which of the diversified corporate group? Carnival Cinemas is the correct answer. Carnival Cinemas is the correct answer. Okay, so here you have he is Dr. Shrikant Basi and he's with John Abraham in this particular image, and he is the chairman of Carnival Cinemas. Shrikant Basi, he's an Indian entrepreneur, of course, and he is the chairman of the Carnival Group. Carnival Group किस में डील करता है बच्चे? Carnival Group is dealing with multiplex, media, entertainment, hospitality, real estate. So it is a conglomerate. It's a corporate diversified corporate group. And Shrikant Basi is the chairman of the Carnival Group. Shrikant Basi is the chairman of the Carnival Group. As of now, how many countries are members of the Nuclear Suppliers Group? ठीक है, आपका जो Nuclear Suppliers Group है NSG, सबसे पहले तो इसका full form याद रखिएगा. NSG is the Nuclear Suppliers Group. There are 48 members currently. 48 members currently that you need to remember. So 48 countries are members of the Nuclear Suppliers Group. Alright. So this was established in 1975. The NSG establishment date भी याद रखना है. Comprising of 48 states that had agreed to coordinate on their export controls to non-nuclear weapon states. All right. Of course, the participants are all written over here. You got Argentina, you got Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Croatia, Cyprus, Iceland, Ireland, Italy. All these are important countries. So total of 48 members were there. NSG जो आपका है, that is a nuclear suppliers group. They want to prevent nuclear exports for commercial and peaceful purposes, right? So this is of course an important group. You need to remember NSG, that is your nuclear suppliers group, is having 48 states as their members. Alright, do keep this in mind also, because they might ask you which of the following is not an NSG member. Nuclear suppliers group, the countries which were competent at that time to have nuclear supplies given, so wahi basically they come and become part of NSG. Who invented the dynamite? If you can remember the name or you can identify this person, this is Alfred B. Noble. Alfred B. Noble दो चीज़ों के लिए important है. He invented the dynamite, alright, and also please remember he is the one who's responsible for your Nobel prizes. तो आपके जो Nobel prizes होते हैं उसका निर्माण भी Alfred B. Noble ने किया था, and of course he's invented the dynamite. So these are the two things that you need to remember. He invented the dynamite and he's also responsible for inventing the Nobel prizes. So when we talk about dynamite, Alfred B. Noble is a person. Please do keep this in mind. Okay, dynamite ये बहुत ही explosive होता है. And here you can see that it was invented by the Swedish chemist and engineer. Please remember the origin also. So Alfred B. Noble is Swedish chemist and engineer, and he is of course known for both in starting the Nobel Prizes as well as inventing the dynamite. All right, so Alfred Bernhard Noble. Sometimes कुछ बहुत ही tough exams में they write Alfred B. Noble में B stands for, you can remember, Bernhard. Okay, so he invented the dynamite as well as, which is of course at that time it was a very powerful explosive, and it still is, and he's also responsible for starting the Nobel Prizes. On which day is United Nations Day observed? United Nations Day जो आपका है, that is observed on the 24th of October. 24th of October is your UN's United Nations Day. All right, 24th October is celebrated as the United Nations Day since 1948. And this is of course this is observed by the member states as a public holiday. In 1971, the General Assembly recommended that the day should be observed as a national or a public holiday for the member states. Okay, on which date is the Human Rights Day observed? Human Rights Day जो आपका है, that is observed on the 10th of December. Okay, so Human Rights Day, which is giving proper treatment to all humans, everyone, irrespective of the color of their skin, the gender, they're given equal rights. Human Rights Day is observed on the 10th of December. 10th of December is when you observe your Human Rights Day. Okay, please keep this in mind, this becomes important. So Human Rights Day that we talk about, right? So when we talk about Human Rights Day, it is observed every year on the 10th of December. And here you of course have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This was a milestone document that is talking about how everyone is equal. This is one of the most translated document in the world. So ये Universal Declaration of Human Rights जो है, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it is the most translated document in the world. Keep this in mind, please. All right. Okay, and the United Nations Human Rights, when you talk about the Human Rights Day, it's observed on the 10th of December. Who among the following is the recipient of Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award? Now, please remember, two people actually got the Khel Ratna Award, and of course in 2018, as you can see in the image, Virat Kohli was definitely one of them who's got the prestigious Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award. ये जो Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award है, ये पहली बार दिया गया था विश्वनाथन आनंद को. So you can remember this. It's considered to be one of the most prestigious prizes that has been given in the arena of sports in our country. ठीक है? So Virat Kohli over here is the correct answer, but please remember that Saikom Mirabai Chanu in the category of weightlifting and Virat Kohli both got the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Prize in 2018. They can probably ask you that which pair is correct, or which two people got the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Prize, Virat Kohli and Saikom Mirabai Chanu, Virat Kohli, and maybe someone else. So the correct answer is Saikom Mirabai Chanu and Virat Kohli. Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Awards, this is of course the highest honor. You can get a direct question, which is the highest honor in India in the category of sports. That's Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Prize. All right, this is of course commemorating Rajiv Gandhi, who was a former prime minister, and the first ever award was instituted in 1991-92, and the first award recipient was Vishwanathan Anand. Vishwanathan Anand got this prize, that you can remember. Okay, so please remember in 2018, Saikom Mirabai Chanu and Virat Kohli received the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award. Who was the first person to get the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award? Vishwanathan Anand. The boundary line between India and Pakistan is called the Radcliffe Line. The boundary that is there between India and Pakistan, the boundary that you have between India and Pakistan, what is it called? It is called the Radcliffe Line, bache. What is it called? It is called the Radcliffe Line. Please remember this. This becomes important. So on 17th August 1947, Radcliffe Line was declared as a boundary between India and Pakistan, after the partition of India. This is named after Sir Cyril Radcliffe, who was commissioned to equitably divide the entire territory which is there with 88 million people. Okay, so this is the Radcliffe line. This divides India and Pakistan. The Radcliffe line divides. The Radcliffe line is the demarcation between India and Pakistan. Okay, the Radcliffe line is a demarcation between India and Pakistan. So you can remember this. This is important. What is the capital of the following? So here you have this question in your assignment as match the followings. Quickly tell me what is the correct answer. सबसे पहले तो बच्चे याद रखना उत्तरांचल is no more the name, Uttarakhand is the name. Okay. So we no more call Uttaranchal. We actually call it Uttarakhand. All right. And the capital of Uttarakhand is Dehradun. The capital of Uttarakhand is Dehradun. The capital of Chhattisgarh capital is Raipur. The capital of Chhattisgarh is Raipur. These are most of the new recent states that have come up in India. So Raipur is the correct answer. Jharkhand that you have. Jharkhand's capital is Ranchi. And Assam is Dispur. Okay, please remember this. Uttaranchal is the earlier name of Uttarakhand. The capital of Uttarakhand is Dehradun. Chhattisgarh का capital Raipur है. Jharkhand का capital Ranchi है. And Assam का capital Dispur है. ठीक है? Do keep this in mind. Uttarakhand is of course the current name. Earlier it was known as Uttaranchal. And here this is basically referred to as a Deva Bhumi, that is the land of gods, because you have a lot of important, many numerous Hindu temples and places of pilgrimage that are there in Uttarakhand. Okay, so please remember you have Dehradun as the capital, Chhattisgarh's capital is Raipur, Jharkhand's capital is Ranchi, and Assam's capital that you have is Dispur. सिक्योरिटी ऑफ दिल्ली मेट्रो इज़ हैंडल्ड बाय. आजकल भी लॉकडाउन की वजह से दिल्ली मेट्रो हैज़ बीन शट डाउन, बट देन स्टिल द CISF इज़ द वन रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर सिक्योरिटी. सो व्हेनेवर यू टॉक अबाउट द सिक्योरिटी ऑफ द दिल्ली मेट्रो, दिस इज़ हैंडल्ड बाय द CISF. ऑलराइट, दिस इज़ हैंडल्ड बाय द CISF. So CISF is responsible for the security that you have in Delhi's metro stations. Alright, so of course when we talk about public transport in urban areas, Delhi Metro has been very effective in reducing congestion and pollution, and it plays a very important role, and people also prefer traveling by Delhi Metro. When you talk about the security of Delhi Metro, this has been taken from the Delhi Metro's website. This information that you see on this slide has been taken from the official Delhi Metro website. This is point number 1. This is point number 3 that you have on the official website, and here you can clearly see that the CISF has been regarded the entire responsibility to make sure that the Delhi Metro is safe, secure. So the security has been managed by the Central Industrial Security Force. Central Industrial Security Force, Industrial Security Force, that is the CISF. Alright, so please remember this question is important. Who is responsible for Delhi Metro's security? The CISF is responsible for the Delhi Metro security. When a bank returns a check unpaid, it is called. आपका जो चेक है आपने जो भरा था उसमें आपको पैसे नहीं मिलते हैं, it is unpaid and it has been returned. That means the check has been dishonored. So whenever the check has been returned unpaid, whenever the check has been returned unpaid, there is a dishonor of the check. There is a dishonor of the check that you need to keep in mind. Okay, the check has been dishonored. The Compulsory Education Act ensures education to the children up to the age of. आपका जो Compulsory Education Act है, that is giving compulsory free and compulsory education to everyone between the age of 6 to 14 years. Alright, so it is up to age of 14 years. So none of the above is the correct answer. Okay, so the Compulsory Education Act जो है, that is giving education to everyone up to the age of 14 years. So these are some kind of questions that are there, and of course the constitution has made it clear that India is to provide free and compulsory education to all the children between 6 to 14 years. So 14 years option mein nahi tha. This is called the RTE, that's a right of children to free and compulsory education. RTE Act, इसके बारे में आपके कई सारी मूवीज़ में भी दिखाया गया है, जैसे इवन हिंदी मीडियम was covering this entire act, right? So please remember, this is very important, and 14 years is there. So this was a warm-up exercise. I hope you managed to get most of the answers correct. Please make sure that you're practicing as much as possible your history concepts, your geography concepts, your polity concepts. Along with that, your general awareness, what is happening around, all those things are extremely important. Basic static GK is important. अगर इसमें कोई problem आ रही है तो उसे ज़रूर बताइएगा, but these questions should definitely be on your fingertips. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome. Let's just quickly get started. We're looking at General Awareness Class Assignment Part 2. We are looking at brands and taglines quiz. So this is basically towards the end of your class assignment Part 2. As you can see that there are 10 questions that are there related to brands and taglines. So let's just quickly get started. Let's immerse into those questions. They are important. They try to look at your knowledge of brands and taglines. Alright, let's just get started with the first question. Who among the following is not a co-founder of Facebook? Now, when you talk about Facebook, of course, the very famous founder is Mark Zuckerberg, that everyone knows. But you need to be aware that Chris Hughes, Dustin Moskovitz, as well as E. Saverin, they are also important founders, co-founders of Facebook. All right, so Facebook, which is very popular. So here you need to remember that of course you have Dustin Moskovitz, who's also the founder. Mark Zuckerberg is a founder. When you talk about Chris Hughes is a founder. Steve Wozniak is not the founder. He is associated with the personal laptop revolution. He is the person who's co-founding Apple. So you need to remember Steve Wozniak is the odd one out. So who's not the founder of Facebook? Steve Wozniak is the correct answer here. So please keep this in mind. This is an important question. Eduardo Saverin, Dustin Moskovitz, Mark Zuckerberg, and Chris Hughes. These are important members who founded Facebook. Okay, so please do keep this in mind. This is extremely crucially important. So when you talk about Facebook, this is an American online social media and social networking service which is based in Menlo Park, California. This is of course their Facebook. It was founded by Mark Zuckerberg along with his Harvard College students and roommates Eduardo Saverin, Andrew McCullum. Andrew McCullum is not there in the options, but he is also one of the co-founders. Dustin Moskovitz and Chris Hughes. Please remember them: Mark Zuckerberg, Dustin Moskovitz, Eduardo Saverin, Andrew McCullum, and Chris Hughes. All right, these are all the people together who are helping Mark Zuckerberg find Facebook. These are all collective co-founders of Facebook. All right, so please do keep this in mind. I'm repeating it again: Mark Zuckerberg, Dustin Moskovitz, Eduardo Saverin, Andrew McCullum, and Chris Hughes. These are all the people associated with finding Facebook, which is social media and social networking service. When you talk about Stephen Wozniak, also known by his nickname Woz, he is the person who is making sure that he is co-founding Apple. He co-founded Apple Inc., right, which later became one of the world's largest information technology company, and of course this was responsible for the personal computer revolution. So please remember Steve Wozniak, also called as Woz. He is a person who's very famous. He's a famous engineer, programmer, philanthropist, and technology entrepreneur. So do keep in mind Steve Wozniak is not the correct answer. So please have this in mind. Mark Zuckerberg, Dustin Moskovitz, and Chris Hughes, along with McCullum, they are finding the Facebook empire, and Steve Wozniak is co-founding Apple. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Nothing like anything is a tagline of a very, very famous tagline. Nothing like anything. Nothing like anything. This is the tagline of Micromax. Micromax is the correct answer here. You need to remember. So if you probably keep on watching things properly, we all know Micromax is a phone brand. But we need to be aware. Can you just see that how closely there is this tagline which has been written? For example, when you talk about Amazon, so we all are ordering from Amazon on a daily basis. If you see that there is this entire chain from A to Z, that means from A to Z they give everything, right? So Micromax, the tagline is nothing like anything. Nothing like anything. So Micromax is the correct answer. The tagline for Micromax is nothing like anything. Nothing like anything. Which of the following is the tagline of the sports company Nike? When you talk about Nike, please remember here, just do it. Just do it is a very famous tagline of Nike. This is one of the very famous manufacturer of athletic products, right? So you need to remember that when you talk about Nike, the important tagline that you have is just do it. It's always in news, just do it. Again, with the entire slogan, with the entire logo, you find this tagline written. Mountain. Please remember taglines for important brands, taglines for brands which are in news, taglines for things that you keep on seeing around which are very, very popular, are often asked in your exams, and they need to be on your fingertips. All right. So Nike is an American multinational corporation that is, of course, dealing with design, development, manufacturing, and worldwide marketing, sales of footwear, apparel, equipment, accessories, etc. Okay, it was founded on January 25th, 1964, and of course, the company is taking the name from Nike, the Greek goddess of victory. Okay, just do it is the tagline that you need to remember for Nike. Find the odd one out. Now, please remember, whenever you talk about Mountain Dew, 7 Up, Slice, right? They are all coming from the parent company of PepsiCo. Okay, so Mountain Dew, the parent company is PepsiCo. When you talk about Slice again, the drink which is offering you mango pulp is again the parent company that you have is PepsiCo. Parent company is PepsiCo, and of course now it is the New Slice venture. Now it is the New Slice venture. The New Slice ventures have taken over Slice, right? 7 Up again is PepsiCo. 7 Up again is PepsiCo. But when you talk about Maaza is the Coca-Cola company. The Coca-Cola company is a parent company for Maaza. Remember, they all are having parent companies, so this is something that you need to keep in mind. So these three are PepsiCo, but Maaza is the odd one out. Why? Because Maaza's parent company is a Coca-Cola company, whereas PepsiCo is the parent company for Mountain Dew, Slice, and 7 Up. So these are the questions that would be asked in your exam. Please keep this in mind. The parent companies are equally important. So PepsiCo is the parent company for Mountain Dew, Slice, and 7 Up, whereas for Maaza it's a Coca-Cola company. So brands that are coming under PepsiCo, you've got 7 Up, you've got Pepsi, of course you've got Kurkure, Lipton iced tea, Diet Pepsi, your Uncle Chips are there, your Doritos are there, Mirinda, Lay's. So all these are brands that you commonly see. They are all coming under the parent company of PepsiCo India. Please keep this in mind. Similarly, Mountain Dew, Slice, and 7 Up is also part of PepsiCo. That is a parent company. And when you talk about Maaza, that is Coca-Cola company. Okay, so that's the odd one out. Brands that are coming under Coca-Cola company, you should know about them also. Coca-Cola is there, Thumbs Up is there, Limca, Sprite, Fanta, Minute Maid, you've got your Maaza, you've got your Kenley water. Alright, so please do keep these in mind, because these are certain brands that we often ignore, and these are all Minute Maid, Pulpy Orange. All these are important brands that are coming under Coca-Cola company, and like I said, Mountain Dew, Slice, and 7 Up is under PepsiCo. So the odd one out was Maaza. Alright, Kitchens of India ready to eat food is a product of, so Kitchens of India, the ready to cook food, is a product of ITC. Please remember this. This is a product of ITC. So imagine, these are certain things. We keep on buying these products, but we never see which is a parent company. These are important questions. Please keep this in mind. Knowing about the parent company, knowing about the product, these are things that you need to be very aware about. These brands, taglines, they will be crucial in most of your questions. All right, so Kitchens of India ready to cook, ready to eat food is a product of ITC Limited. Dettol is a product of, when you talk about Dettol, this is a product of Reckitt Benckiser. Reckitt Benckiser, it's a very important question. This has come twice in your entrances. Dettol, the most important cleanliness product, this is a part of Reckitt Benckiser. Reckitt Benckiser is a parent company. So Dettol is a product of Reckitt Benckiser. Alright, please do keep this in mind. Reckitt Benckiser India Limited, that is the RBIL. RBIL, they can also ask you the full form. This is of course the fully owned subsidiary of Reckitt Benckiser, and this is the world's #1 company that is dealing in household cleaning products. All right, and Dettol is of course one of the important brands they have. Dettol started as an antiseptic liquid, but of course now it can be seen that you've got toilet soaps, you've got liquid hand wash, you've got liquid body wash, shaving creams, plaster strips that are coming for Dettol. Please keep this in mind that when we talk about Dettol, Dettol in India is a part of RBIL, that is a Reckitt Benckiser India Limited. Alright, the Reckitt Benckiser India Limited. Dettol, like I said, this is a question that's been asked twice before. So do keep this in mind that whenever we are talking about Dettol, Dettol is coming from, is actually a product of the Reckitt Benckiser company group. Alright. Which of the following is the largest employer of India? अच्छा अब ये question थोड़ा important हो जाता है. Please remember for your entrances you need to remember private sector ownership as well as public sector ownership. When you talk about the public sector domain, usually the correct answer here would be the Indian Railways. However, please remember that the Indian the Indian forces are also actively involved in hiring people. और एक और चीज़ जो आपको याद रखनी है, out of the 100% population that we have in India, only a very small percentage of people is into structured labor. Structured labor is only a very sizable, countable percentage of people. That's a single digit people that come under the category of structured organized employers, okay, or people who are working in structured organized labor. So the largest employer in India is the Indian Railways. Here the Indian Railways will be the correct answer. Now one thing that I want you to keep in mind, okay, the public sector, when you talk about the public sector, you have the armed forces. Armed forces say 13 to 14 lakhs approximately they keep on hiring. Railways is hiring 13 lakhs people. Postal department is hiring 4.2 lakh people. So this is for the public sector. Now when you talk about the private sector, have you ever noticed that the Amazon delivery executive that you have, so whenever you see the Amazon delivery executive, right, you see the Amazon delivery executive, or whenever you're probably going on to the Samsung showroom, there the person who's telling you and helping you out with your queries, all these people are hired by a Bangalore based company. This Bangalore based company is called Quess Corp. Quess Corp is the name of this Bangalore based company that is providing staffing solutions for some of the biggest brands in India. So please keep this in mind when we are talking about the public sector. Of course, the largest employer is the Indian Railways, and of course sometimes it is the armed forces. However, when you talk about the private sector, Quess Corp, which is a Bangalore based company, please keep this in mind. You can definitely get this question. In the private sector, the largest employer is Quess Corp. All your Amazon delivery boys, the Samsung executives at stores, the Airtel executives at stores, they're all handled by the Quess Corp. Okay, so please do keep this in mind. After that, of course, the Tata Consultancy Services is almost having about 3.56 lakh people employed and 90,000 people employed overseas. Infosys is also a good employer. Sizable number of people are hired by them. Reliance is another one, and Swiggy also said that they might just be increasing their number from 2 to 5 lakhs, so they'll also become one of the largest private sector employers very soon. So please keep these statistics in mind because you get questions based on this. And to the answer to question number 7, of course, would be the largest employer in India, because amongst those answers, options that they're given, Indian Railways is the correct answer. Okay, but please don't forget about the Quess Corp, the Bangalore based company. And remember, I'm again and again repeating, it's a Bangalore based company, because you might even get a question what sort of a company it is. This is a staffing company, Quess Corp, and it's a Bangalore based company. Alright, let's just quickly get started with the next question. Which of the following does not belong to the Bennett and Coleman group? Please remember, when you talk about the Bennett and Coleman group, Times of India is definitely a part of it. If you've ever read the newspaper properly, you will see just right below Times of India, the Bennett Coleman group has been written. The Economic Times is also part of the Bennett Coleman group. Femina, considered to be one of the oldest magazines, it's been active for over 6 decades, is also a part of Bennett and Coleman group. Whereas the Outlook is a part of Rajan Raheja group. So there is a Rajan Raheja group, right? So the Rajan Raheja group is a company that is owning Outlook. Okay, so Outlook is the odd one out. This is not getting belonged by the Bennett Coleman group. Do keep this in mind. Otherwise, the remaining 3 that we have, the Times of India, the Economic Times, and Femina, all 3 of them are a part of your Bennett and Coleman group. All right, so the odd one out is Outlook. Outlook has been managed by the Rajan Raheja group. All right, so Outlook was first issued in October 1995. It is owned by the Rajan Raheja group, as I told you. This is of course having content from politics, sports, cinema, and it's considered to be a good magazine. You can actually read this also to improve your current affairs. All right, Femina, like I told you, this is a subsidiary of the Times Group. Times Group is, of course, the Bennett Coleman Group. It is one of the oldest women's English magazines. It's been active for over 6 decades now, 60 years. And Times of India, of course, is a part of the Times Group. That's a Bennett Coleman Group. Economic Times is also a part of your Bennett Coleman Group. All right. So Outlook is the odd one out. Please do keep this in mind. All right. Let's just quickly go on to the next question. Who heads the Tata Group at present? Very important question. It can be seen in most of your entrances. When you talk about Natarajan Chandrasekaran, right? The correct answer over here is Natarajan Chandrasekaran. That is the correct answer. He is heading the Tata Group at present. Natarajan Chandrasekaran is heading the Tata Group at present. He is the first important heads of the Tata Group that is not coming from the Parsi community. All right. Otherwise, Tata Group is having a history of having Parsis as their heads, but he is one of the first people to head the Tata Group who's not a Parsi. Natarajan Chandrasekaran is the correct answer. He is heading the Tata Group at present. All right. So he's heading the Tata Group at present. Natarajan Chandrasekaran, he's a new Tata Group chairman. Do remember this, right? He is, of course, popularly called as one of the known faces of the Tata Group. He's 53 years old, and here, of course, like I said, he is he's the seventh chairman and the first person outside India's affluent Parsi community to be appointed for the post. Okay, so he's the first non-Parsi to be appointed to head the Tata Group. Tata is, of course, primarily been a very actively controlled group by the Parsis, but this we can clearly see that he's one of the first ones who's coming from the non-Parsi community. Okay, do keep this in mind. All right, quickly, they can also ask you a question: who's the first non-Parsi leader, or who's the first non-Parsi head of the Tata Group? So you need to remember that Natarajan Chandrasekaran is the correct answer. Consider the following statements. WhatsApp has been acquired by Facebook. Motorola has been acquired by Lenovo. Now please remember, this is very important. WhatsApp has been acquired by Facebook. Motorola has been acquired by Lenovo. हुआ क्या था, मोटोरोला को पहले गूगल ने खरीद लिया था, बट लेटर ऑन, एंड गूगल ने एक बहुत हेफ्टी प्राइस पे खरीदा था. गूगल ने अप्रॉक्सीमेटली $12 billion पे खरीदा था, बट इट ओनली सोल्ड एट अबाउट close to 2 to 3 billion dollars, right? They sold it to Lenovo. So both the statements, WhatsApp being acquired by Facebook and Motorola being acquired by Lenovo, both these statements are absolutely correct. So option 3 is the correct answer that you need to keep in mind. All right, Google bought Motorola for $12.5 billion, right? But it sold it off to Lenovo for $2.91 billion. All right, और उनके खुद के reasons थे, because they wanted to show Samsung and the other mobile handset companies that they were also there and important players, and they're also taken a lot of data. All right, so do remember, WhatsApp has been taken over. It's been acquired by Facebook, and of course Google sold Motorola finally to Lenovo. All right, so you need to keep this in mind. Both the statements were absolutely correct, because you will be getting questions related to mergers and acquisitions, because they are testing your business awareness knowledge. So do keep this in mind, and in case if you're having any doubts, you can definitely reconnect and make sure that your proper knowledge about brands, their leaders, the heads, the taglines, they're absolutely clear. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome. Let's just quickly immerse and get into the general awareness class assignment part 2. Here we are looking at parent companies questions. So I want you to pull out your sheet that is related to general awareness class assignment 2. This is a part of your brands and taglines component. Please remember proper knowledge about brands, taglines is extremely crucial if you want to score well in your entrances. Alright. Quickly, let's get started. Now, please remember, whenever we talk about products that we're using on a daily basis, be it any product, for example, these days, if you're using a sanitizer, what product are you using? Are you using a Dettol sanitizer? Which company is it coming from? Or it's a product of which company? For example, is it a Reckitt Benckiser product? Is it a Unilever product? Is it a Hindustan Unilever product? What is the difference between Hindustan Unilever or Limited and Unilever only? All right, so these are certain questions that need to come to your mind if you want to get selected properly in these entrances, right? So you need to be extremely aware. You need to quickly ask any product that you're using, which brand is it coming for, because that curiosity will ensure that you're getting the correct answer in your entrances. However, we are here to help you out with some of the most important questions, right? Now, please remember when you talk about products, okay, so these products are not always being produced by the same company. These products are not like, for example, if you're using a shampoo like Sunsilk, so it's not necessary that Sunsilk is the owner company. It might be having a parent company, okay, and of course in this case Sunsilk does have a parent company. All right, so these parent companies are larger companies that are dealing with diversified product ranges, right? So we need to be aware about these parent companies because you get one or two questions primarily coming from parent companies, okay? So the most famous parent companies that we have, of course, is Procter and Gamble. You've got the Hindustan Unilever. You've got the Berkshire Hathaway company. These are some important companies that you need to keep in mind. All right. So, for example, we might have Procter and Gamble, Hindustan Unilever, Hindustan Unilever Limited, or only Unilever also. All right. So let's just quickly get started. Berkshire Hathaway is also there. So, for example, your Duracell batteries that you use, right? They're often advertised. They're coming from Berkshire Hathaway. So let's just quickly get started. And before we go further solving that question, I want you to look at some parent companies, okay? One of the biggest parent companies that we have is Hindustan Unilever, and Hindustan Unilever is currently getting threatened by Patanjali. Baba Ramdev's Patanjali is one of the biggest competitor of Hindustan Unilever. This is India's largest consumer goods company. It is a subsidiary. This is a subsidiary of Unilever. And what is Unilever? Unilever is an Anglo-Dutch multinational company. Unilever is an Anglo-Dutch multinational company, and Hindustan Unilever is a subsidiary of your Anglo-Dutch multinational company Unilever. So do keep this in mind whenever we are talking about. And most of the products that you have, please remember your Procter and Gamble, your Hindustan Unilever, your Reckitt Benckiser. These are some parent companies which are very important that you need to be aware about. Okay. Of course, like I said, currently Hindustan Unilever, despite being one of the largest consumer goods company, has been threatened by Patanjali, and Baba Ramdev has also expressed. This is basically taken from an interview in 2018. That's almost 2 years ago. But at that particular point in time, and even today, the situation hasn't really changed. Patanjali is considered to be a threat for Hindustan Unilever. And please remember, Patanjali's CEO is Acharya Balkrishna. This question can also come, so you need to keep this in mind. And when you talk about Hindustan Unilever, it's getting threatened by Patanjali also. Okay, so Hindustan Unilever is there, which I told you is a subsidiary of Unilever. Then you've got the Procter and Gamble company. The Procter and Gamble company is an American multinational consumer goods corporation. It's having its headquarters in Cincinnati, Ohio, right? So please remember this. And of course, the founders were William Procter and James Gamble. That's how Procter and Gamble came into being. And they are, of course, dealing with many products. They're dealing with extreme amount of products. For example, when you talk about your Ariel, okay, when you talk about your Ariel, Daag Achhe Hain, right? Ariel has got a campaign of Daag Achhe Hain. Or Gillette, which is considered to be one of the most Gillette ads also you would have seen whenever we talk about shaving, men's shaving part. Olay Total Control, or Oral B for that matter. They're all a part of Procter Gamble. Vicks that we keep on using, right? Whenever we are suffering from cold and cough. So the Vicks Vapor Up that we have got is all coming from Procter and Gamble. Then you've got Pampers. Pampers again, very very famous. Pampers again coming from Procter and Gamble, right? So these are certain products. So the Ambipure that you have, which is air freshener. These are all products that we use on a daily basis, but we often forget to notice that which is the parent company, and the parent company is on the product, right? So if you notice the product correctly, you would be able to identify this parent company. So please do keep this in mind. And the current chairman that you are having, the current chairman and CEO of Procter and Gamble is David S. Taylor. Do keep this in mind. This is also important. Okay, do keep this in mind. Like I told you, Procter & Gamble, it's also one of the largest and fastest growing consumer goods companies in the world. And of course, it's trying to touch and deal with lives of 4.4 billion people around the world. When you talk about products like Tide, Gillette, Pampers, these are all important products that are there, which Procter & Gamble is dealing in, right? Then, of course, another parent company which is very famous is Godrej Group. Godrej is again a conglomerate dealing with a diverse range of products, right? It is, of course, having its entire headquarters in Mumbai. So, if you've gone to Mumbai, you'll be able to see the Godrej building. So, the Godrej building is considered to be one of the most beautiful workplaces in Mumbai. There's One India Bulls and there's Godrej building. That is the office of the Godrej Group. Its headquarters in Mumbai, Maharashtra. And of course, over here, they're dealing with industrial engineers, appliances, furniture, real estate, consumer products. So, for example, a lot of times we use HIT, right? Ek lal hit dena, या फिर मच्छर आ गए तो we are using a hit, but we forget that hit is actually a product of Godrej Group, right? So the hit campaign was a very successful campaign also before Diwali, so that you could get your house completely disinfected, sanitized completely. So hit is a product of Godrej Group. So these are things that you need to be aware. So the Lal Hit Diwali is coming campaign that was there, right, is also part of Godrej Consumer Good, right? So you need to keep this in mind. Good Night is a part of Godrej Group. So these are certain products that we use on a daily basis, but we need to be more aware about which is the parent company. So the first task after this particular assignment that you're completing is, please be more aware about the products that are around you. Try to look at which is the parent company, try to look at the tagline, try to see are they in news for any reasons, right? All right, so let's just quickly get started with the assignment. Please pull out your assignment that you are having. So some of the parent companies that we've discussed will be coming again and again. So when you talk about the first product that's been asked, Fair and Lovely. Fair and Lovely is a skin lightening cosmetic product that came in the Indian market in 1975. A lot of people criticize this product because it's a fairness cream. Please remember Hindustan Unilever. So Hindustan Unilever is a parent company for Fair and Lovely. Alright. Ariel Daag Achhe hain, right? Ariel Daag Achhe hain. Fair and Lovely has also started with a skill training academy. ये आपके यामी गौतम इसकी advertisement करती है, इसकी advertisement करती है. Yami Gautam is one of the most important brand ambassadors also of Fair and Lovely, right? And they have come up with a skill training institute. What they do, they train girls, they're skilling girls so that they can get a job. So maybe they can ask you a question, which fairness product or which cream has currently come up with a skill training center, and that skill training center has been set up with the help of course the Hindustan Unilever Limited, right? Gillette, of course, important. Gillette when you're talking about your razors and personal care products, and this is again, Gillette is again having the parent company as Procter and Gamble. Please remember that. So Gillette's parent company is also Procter and Gamble. So is Head and Shoulders. So a couple of products that are coming under Procter and Gamble. You got Head and Shoulders. You got Olay Total Effects, right? Olay Total Effects. Then you have a lot of Bollywood celebrities coming. Oral B toothbrush, right? Use the Oral B toothbrush, or Pantene Provene, for which Priyanka Chopra also advertises, right? Tide, I just showed you Tide. Tide is also there. So these are all products coming under Procter and Gamble. Keep that in mind, please. Okay. Head and Shoulders is anti-dandruff shampoo or the non-dandruff shampoo. This is also owned by Procter and Gamble, and this was of course introduced in 1961. Okay, so do keep this in mind. Olay Total Effects, this American skincare brand, is also coming under Procter and Gamble. Okay, Procter and Gamble, please remember that. So Fair and Lovely was Hindustan Unilever, and Olay Total Effects, or Olay, that is there in cosmetics, is coming under Procter and Gamble. Okay, the parent company is Procter and Gamble. Oral B, that is dealing with, it's of course a part of the Gillette group. It became part of the Gillette group in 1984. And here you need to remember that they started as manufacturers of electric toothbrushes, but now of course they are having normal toothbrushes as well. And you need to know that Oral B has been a part of the Procter and Gamble company since 2006. Okay, and B over here is standing for brush. This is also an important point, please to keep this in mind. Oral B, so B stands for brush. This is also something which you need to keep in mind. So certain brands, if they have any alphabet, is that alphabet standing for something, you need to be aware about it. So Oral B, B stands for brush, please remember this. Okay, so when you talk about Oral B product, this is of course the parent company is Procter and Gamble, which is an American based company that we saw. However, you need to keep in mind that in Oral B, B is standing for brush. Okay, all right. Surf Excel is owned by Unilever, that's the Anglo-Dutch company. So Surf Excel is of course a Unilever brand that is there. Okay, so please do keep this in mind when you're talking about Surf Excel. It's owned by Unilever. Don't get confused between Hindustan Unilever and Unilever. Hindustan Unilever is a subsidiary of Unilever. Okay, so do keep that in mind. Okay, Procter and Gamble again comes when you talk about Pantene. Pantene is a Swiss created American brand. All right, and this is of course owned by Procter and Gamble, please remember that. So Pantene, it branded the name based on panthenol as a shampoo ingredient. Panthenol is used, why is it called Pantene? Because panthenol is used as a shampoo ingredient in Pantene. So it is also part of Procter and Gamble. So you can remember, this is easy. P for Pantene, P for Procter and Gamble, you can remember it easily. All right, so do keep this in mind. Tide, we've already seen, is a part of Procter and Gamble. Tide is one of the highest selling detergent brands in the world. It has got an estimated 14.3% of the global market currently. So this is one of the highest selling detergent brands because it's considered to be cheap as well as a good product altogether when you talk about the world average, not just in India. Okay, it's owned by Procter and Gamble. Alright, Hindustan Unilever is also owning Brew Coffee. Please do keep that in mind when you talk about Brew Coffee. So Brew Coffee, brew से होती है दुनिया शुरू, ये आपका tagline भी होता था. So Brew जो आपकी coffee है, that is a part of Hindustan Unilever. So Hindustan Unilever is a parent company. And it's of course having direct competition with Nestle's Nescafe. Nestle का जो Nescafe है, Nestle also you can remember, Nestle's Nescafe. So this is having direct competition from Nestle's Nescafe. Okay, direct competition with Nestle's Nescafe. You got the next one, Red Label, Brooke Bond Red Label. So Brooke Bond is a brand of tea that is getting owned by Unilever. So Red Label, again the parent company is Unilever because it's Brooke Bond Red Label, right? If you've seen the ad, Brooke Bond Red Label chai. So please keep that in mind. Brooke Bond is now under Unilever. Okay, so you need to keep this in mind. Please remember this. Okay, Kisan is coming under Hindustan Unilever. Your Kisan ketchup is coming under Hindustan Unilever. Kisan or Lipton green tea again coming under Hindustan Unilever. Do keep this in mind. Your Vicks is under Procter Gamble. We've already spoken about Vicks. Vicks is coming under Procter and Gamble. Vicks is a product that's coming under Procter and Gamble. So Vicks, the product, is coming under Procter and Gamble. Quality Walls, the parent company, is Hindustan Unilever. Please remember that of course Hindustan Unilever is an arm or subsidiary of Unilever. And when you talk about your Quality Walls, there is Quality of India and Walls of the Great Britain. These two companies came together to form Quality Walls. Please remember this is important. So when you talk about Quality Walls is actually an amalgamation. So this is an amalgamated brand. Amalgamated brand, that means two brands coming together to make one brand. All right. So Quality was a company of India and Walls was a company of Great Britain. These two came together and the parent company is Hindustan Unilever Limited. Okay. Alright, Duracell, like I told you, Duracell is coming from Berkshire Hathaway. This is one of the only, I think, companies in this entire group that we are discussing coming from Berkshire Hathaway. Alright, this is of course an American manufacturing company that is owned by Berkshire Hathaway. This is supplying batteries and smart power systems when you talk about Duracell. So इसको भी थोड़ा सा ध्यान में रखना बिकॉज ये ज़रूरी हो जाएगा आपके लिए. दिस इज़ ऑफ कोर्स देयर ओन्ड बाय बर्कशायर हैथवे. ड्यूरासेल जो है पहले आपका प्रॉक्टर एंड गैम्बल के अंदर आ रहा था, बट इन 2014 इट वाज सीन दैट प्रॉक्टर एंड गैम्बल रीच्ड एन अग्रीमेंट टू सेल द कंपनी टू बर्कशायर हैथवे. तो अभी करंट पेरेंट कंपनी कौन सी है? करंट पेरेंट कंपनी बर्कशायर हैथवे है. ठीक है, तो ये चीज़ आप यहाँ पर ध्यान में रख सकते हो कि पहले प्रॉक्टर एंड गैम्बल था ड्यूरासेल का. तभी कुछ कुछ इमेजेस में आपको ड्यूरासेल का पेरेंट कंपनी दिखेगा प्रॉक्टर एंड गैम्बल. लेकिन यू नीड टू रिमेंबर कि 2014 में प्रॉक्टर एंड गैम्बल ने बर्कशायर हैथवे को ये सेल कर दिया है. ठीक है, 2014 में 2014 में प्रॉक्टर एंड गैम्बल हैज सोल्ड इट टू बर्कशायर हैथवे. सो डू कीप दिस इन माइंड. ऑलराइट, लैक्मे ऑफ कोर्स इंडियाज first number one cosmetic brands that you are having right in India. This actually started as a subsidiary of Tata Oil Mills, Tomco, but currently it is owned by Hindustan Unilever. It is owned by Hindustan Unilever. The two brand ambassadors, Kareena Kapoor and Ananya Pandey, the two brand ambassadors for Lakme. You've got your Ananya Pandey and Kareena Kapoor. So those are the two brand ambassadors. Please remember that. The two brand ambassadors that are there are Ananya Pandey and Kareena Kapoor. Okay. Alright, Peers. Peers is a product that you need to remember for 2 or 3 things. This is of course a product that is coming under Unilever. Alright. And this was one of the world's first mass market translucent soap. It was the first mass market translucent soap. Translucent, so you could see through the product, right? Translucent is something that is transparent. So please do remember this. And of course, like I said, that this particular brand that you're talking about, Peers, is owned by Unilever. So now, of course, it is owned by Unilever. So you can keep that in mind. And this is something which is important. All right, the next one is Synthol. Synthol is owned by Godrej, so you can keep that in mind. It's a fast moving consumer good, and Synthol is a product of the Godrej group. Synthol is a product of the Godrej group. So when you talk about Synthol, Synthol is a product of the Godrej group. Godrej Group is the parent company. Okay, remember that. Hindustan Lever, when you're talking about Hindustan Lever, it's actually dealing with brands like Sunsilk, Clinic Plus, Clinic All Clear, right? So it's of course one of the largest consumer goods manufacturer. Knorr, when you talk about it, it's Unilever. Okay, so it is owned by the British Dutch company Unilever. So Knorr is getting owned by Unilever. Please keep that in mind. Knorr is being owned by Unilever. All right. Pureit, of course, is by Hindustan Unilever Limited. Pureit is by Hindustan Unilever Limited. Many times you're asked this question, right? Axe deodorant is Unilever again. It's Unilever, not Hindustan Unilever, but Unilever. Axe, the Axe effect, very very sexy. जिसका tagline है. So this Axe is actually owned by Unilever. This Axe is owned by Unilever. So you can actually make a cluster. ये जो सारे के सारे brands अभी हम देख रहे हैं, आप अपने खुद के लिए for making things easier, what you could do, child, is you could make a cluster, right? What you could do, you could make a cluster. For example, you can make a cluster of Procter and Gamble. List products that are coming under Procter and Gamble. For example, Ariel is coming under Procter and Gamble. Gillette is coming under Procter and Gamble. Head and Shoulders is coming under Procter and Gamble. Olay is coming under Procter and Gamble. Oral-B, B stands for brush. Oral-B is coming under Procter and Gamble, right? Your Pantene, Tide, they're all coming under Procter and Gamble, right? Pantene हो गया, आपका Tide हो गया, they're all coming under Procter and Gamble. Then you can maybe make another chart for Unilever only, right? And then you can make a subchart for Hindustan Unilever. So in Unilever's category, you can put Red Label, right? Brook Bond Red Label, or here you can also put your Surf Excel. So Surf Excel. Remember, when you're talking about Surf Excel, you can remember that Tide is one of the largest detergent brands with over 14% people using it across the world. So इस तरह से अगर आप रिवाइज करते रहोगे, फेयर एंड लवली is a part of your Hindustan Unilever Limited. So please remember it this way. अगर आप clusters बना के करोगे, you'll be able to remember it for a larger period of time, because these are common products that are usually seen in your exam. So these need to be on your fingertips. इनको आपने अच्छे से करना ही है, ये ज़रूरी हो जाएगा. Okay, so do keep this in mind. This is important. Okay, let's just quickly go on to the next one. Pepsodent. Pepsodent is again Unilever, is the parent company when you talk about Pepsodent, right? So Pepsodent is again owned by Unilever. This is of course toothpaste category. Lifebuoy again is Unilever. This is a part of the soap industry, right? And this is of course a carbolic soap containing penol. Penol is there, right? That is carbolic acid compound of extracted from coal tar. So do keep that in mind. Lifebuoy is also Unilever. Then you got Rin. Rin is a part of Hindustan Unilever. Rin is a part of Hindustan Unilever. तो जब आप रिन सुप्रीम के ऐड देखते हो तो आपको पीछे बिल्कुल दिख जाता है, इट इज़ ओन्ड बाय हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर. ओके. Pampers, we've already discussed, is owned by Procter and Gamble. When you talk about Vaseline, Vaseline is by Unilever. Vaseline is by Unilever. So Vaseline, this is an American brand of petroleum jelly. All right, this is owned of course by British Dutch company called Unilever. Products of course include plain petroleum jelly and other cleaning lotions, Vaseline, which are there. Close up, your first important. All right, this was of course the first gel toothpaste, Close Up, and it's marketed worldwide by Unilever. Unilever is the parent company for Close Up. Okay, Unilever is a parent company for Close Up toothpaste and was the first gel toothpaste. Ambipure is by Procter and Gamble. Ambipure is keeping the entire air extremely fragrant. It's not a purifier, it's actually an air freshener. Understand the difference? Air purifier अलग होता है बच्चे, when you talk about air को pure करने वाला अलग होता है, लेकिन air freshener fresh करने वाला air को अलग होता है. So this is an air freshener and this is owned by Procter and Gamble. Procter and Gamble. So do keep that in mind. This is important. Okay. Then you got Sunsilk. Sunsilk is there and Sunsilk is owned by Unilever. Sunsilk is being owned by Unilever. So you can keep that in mind because this is important. Okay. Vim Bar that you have is again owned by Hindustan Unilever Limited. It was launched in 1993. This is a hand dishwashing brand that is of course created a category. अब आपको सब पता है, सबको विम बार के बारे में पता है, बर्तन चमके बार बार, विम बार. So these are important details regarding Vim Bar, that it's already made a mark. Okay. Then you got Tresemme as the last product. Tresemme is having Unilever as the parent company, right? And it is used by professionals. That's their tagline. It's used by the professional. Can you see most of the products will have taglines if you look at the logo correctly, right? Like Nike, just do it, right? So most of the important products will have their taglines directly. It is for you to look at them, it's for you to search them properly. That becomes extremely crucial. Without that, nothing can happen, so you need to remember them. All right, so like I said, we've actually looked at some of the important brands and their parent companies. Primarily you have the Hindustan Unilever, you got your Unilever, Hindustan Unilever, as well as Procter and Gamble, as well as the Godrej Group. These are some important parent companies, and of course you need to remember the parent companies of these products. Hello and welcome. We are currently looking at your general awareness class assignment part 2, which is dealing with your brands, taglines. There was an important component of this particular section that comes under brands and taglines, that is about celebrities endorsing products, right? So, this is particularly a component that deals with brand endorsements. Okay, what does it deal with? It deals with the brand endorsements that the celebrities are into. Okay, so you need to keep in mind this is a very common question. It's a very scoring question wherein you're supposed to be aware about the various brand endorsements that all these celebrities have undertaken. They need to be on your fingertips as it is. The more aware you are, and I think because of the current quarantine period, it gives you more chance, more opportunity to watch things over media. And when you're watching things over media, be curious. Okay, this person is probably advertising this product. Which product is he advertising? How is his contract being shaped? Remember what you need to do. Most of the times, what do? We have a tendency of skipping ads, right? We have a tendency of skipping the advertisements. But when you talk about brands and endorsements, that's the beauty. Now you need to be very curious. Imagine if you're watching something on whatever platform, right? And there is this advertisement that has come. This advertisement is very crucial for you for your preparation, because you need to be aware about which celebrity is the person, which celebrity is a brand, has a brand groped in or hired in order to ensure that they are able to market the product well. So you need to be more aware about these things, and I would say that just watching television would really help. So what you could do, you could just build a routine where you're watching television or you're watching things for 2 hours, and just take your ads very, very seriously. So in between, if you see a Snickers ad, see which celebrity is doing the Snickers ad. If you see the Byju's ad, see which celebrity is the Byju's brand ambassador. If you see an advertisement that is dealing with Hero Honda, or any advertisement that's dealing with maybe Hyundai, so you need to be aware about all of those. Those are very important details, right? So here, let's just look at this question. This is an important question that we are covering through this video. There are certain famous celebrities whose pictures you can see in the general awareness class assignment 2. Now we need to figure out the possible brands that these celebrities are dealing with. Okay, so the first person that you have in your list is Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Now Mahendra Singh Dhoni, he's known to be Captain Cool. He was one of the most successful Indian captains, because we won the T20 World Cup Championship. We won the World Cup also under him. So you need to remember that of course he is considered to be India's most successful, one of the most successful and most loved cricketing captains, right? And not just captains, but cricketing figures. And therefore he has so many endorsements. For example, if you're watching TV properly these days during your quarantine period, you will see that Mahendra Singh Dhoni, when you talk about Mahi, as he's commonly shortly called, Mahendra Singh Dhoni or Mahi, he is endorsing for a startup called Redbus, right? So Redbus, if you've seen that advertisement where Dhoni is saying that you don't have to be a king, you need to book your tickets well in advance if you're traveling via a bus, Redbus. So this is a startup. Then another important startup that you have is Cars24, which is dealing with used cars, right? So if you've got a second-hand car, or if you've got a car that you want to sell away, right? So that is what Cars24 is dealing with, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni is their brand ambassador. You must have seen some ads dealing with Cars24, that Cars24 is the correct choice for you. And please remember this Cars24, you must, if you will notice, he started doing this in August 2019. So he got this endorsement in August 2019. Then he's also a brand ambassador for a menswear brand called Indian Terrain. There is, you can mention all these things correctly, right? Just make sure that you're making a note of these in your entire assignment itself. That will be very important. Or let me just write it down for you in a very neat fashion. There are certain problems with this tablet a little bit, so there'll be some issues. But when we are talking about MS Dhoni, right, this is Mahendra Singh Dhoni. He is the former Indian cricket captain. If you know about him, I'm sure you know about him. When you talk about his brand endorsements, please remember we're writing it in order. He is the brand ambassador for Redbus. He is the brand ambassador for Cars24. right? He's a brand ambassador for Cars 24. Right now, we're just looking at Mahendra Singh Dhoni. We're not looking at Ranbir Kapoor right now. Then Indian Terrain. Indian Terrain is a menswear brand. Indian Terrain. This is a menswear brand that Mahendra Singh Dhoni endorses. This is a menswear brand. Last year, if you were watching television aggressively, you could have seen that, you know, he was in the Colgate ad, which even Deepika Padukone did it with her mother, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni did it with his wife, right? So if you remember the Colgate ad that he had done with Sakshi, that is his wife, Colgate ad, he had done it with his wife. So there was this Colgate ad that had come in last year, which he had done it with his wife, which even Deepika Padukone had done it with her mother, right? That Colgate ad. Your smile is important. Then he's also been seen in Indigo Paints advertisements. So he's a brand ambassador for Indigo Paints also. One very important endorsement for you is GoDaddy. GoDaddy. All these startups are very important. Okay, please keep this in mind. So when you talk about GoDaddy that Dhoni is endorsing, this is basically a domain registrar or a web hosting company. So for example, if you want to start a new business, you can actually have your website developed on GoDaddy at a very cheap cost. So Dhoni went on saying that, you know, register your company, give your brand visibility by enrolling in GoDaddy. Right? So if, for example, let me just help you out and let's just do it correctly. I hope you will all make proper notes because of that. Okay, let's just quickly try to make proper notes only. So if we are talking about Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Red Bus we've seen, Cars 24 we've seen, GoDaddy is important. Why? Because GoDaddy is a startup that is dealing with web hosting. So GoDaddy, what is it? This is a registrar or a web hosting company. For example, if I'm opening a new company, right, and I want to have my own website, then I can go to GoDaddy and get a website at a very cheap cost and a domain name at a very cheap cost. Okay. One more important brand endorsement that you must have seen Mahendra Singh Dhoni is Bharat Matrimony. Bharat Matrimony is also a brand endorsement that Mahendra Singh Dhoni has been a brand endorser for. He's been the brand ambassador for. Please remember this. One important brand endorsement that Mahendra Singh Dhoni has is with MasterCard. Okay, so one important endorsement that he is having is with MasterCard. I'm sure all of you know about Shahid Kapoor. Shahid Kapoor's father is Pankaj Kapoor. So that advertisement is with Pankaj Kapoor that Mahendra Singh Dhoni is having, and this is important. Why? Because, you know, he is supporting the government's agenda for a digitally empowered society. So he said, I am supporting the government's agenda. Because this entire government is very proactive since the first tenure also to create a digital India. That's how most of the bills that we can pay now online itself, right? So supporting the entire government's initiative or government's agenda for creating a digitally empowered society, So Mahendra Singh Dhoni is also therefore very popular because, you know, he's handpicked his entire brands properly, looking at the vision, looking at proper. He also was a brand ambassador for Jharkhand because he's coming from Ranchi, so he was also the brand ambassador for Jharkhand. You can remember that. Okay, then one advertisement जो हम सब जानते हैं, Snickers, माही तू hungry है इसीलिए तू पागल हो जाता है, लड़कियों की तरह हो जाता है. Slightly sexist an ad, but still. So Snickers India is also a product that Mahendra Singh Dhoni is endorsing. Then if you know, right now of course the lockdown period is there, but netmeds.com, this was helping you book your, like, you know, just click a picture of your prescription, doctor's prescription, and you can go on Netmeds and you could make sure that, you know, your medicines are being delivered to you timely. So Netmeds was basically helping you with your medicines, right? Then of course one more important one that you have is your Ward Viz. Ward Viz. Now Ward Viz, why this was important? Because this was a 15 crore endorsement. Mahendra Singh Dhoni got 15 crores for this endorsement. What is Ward Viz? Ward Viz is a cyber security company. It's a German cyber security company. Do remember, you may get a question that which of the following is a German cyber security company? Ward Viz is a German cyber security company. German cyber security company. German cyber security company. Okay, so NetMeds, Warwiz, two interesting ones. I don't know if some of you play this entire game, but many people went crazy. He's a brand ambassador for Dream 11, that is a fantasy league. That means if a match is being played, right, you already predict, you try to predict which team will win. You try to make your own team. So Dhoni is also the brand ambassador for Dream 11 as well as Amity University. Amity University, empowering the youth, empowering the nation. That's a university. It's a private university. So Dhoni is also the brand ambassador for Amity University. So you can see that Mahendra Singh Dhoni is endorsing a plethora. He is endorsing a plethora, many, right? Plethora, many. He's endorsing many products, right? So do keep this in mind, because you might get a question on which of the following products is being endorsed by Dhoni. Okay, so from Red Bus, Cars 24, Colgate, Indigo Paints, GoDaddy, Mastercard, Snickers, Wardwiz, Dream 11, Amity University, these are all getting endorsed by Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Okay, so do keep this in mind, because this is definitely important. So do definitely have this thing in your mind, that when we are talking about Mahendra Singh Dhoni and his endorsements, then definitely all these are important endorsements that Mahendra Singh Dhoni has undertaken. Okay, now moving ahead, let's just quickly look at Ranbir Kapoor. All right, so Ranbir Kapoor is the second person that we're looking at. So let's just quickly look at his brand endorsements as well. Now Ranbir Kapoor is also one of the most loved Bollywood celebrities, right? He's 36 years old, and of course he's very popular for his affairs also that he's undertaken, right? So he's also a very famous brand ambassador. He's been a very popular brand ambassador. Okay, let's just look at some brands that Ranbir Kapoor has been endorsing. Okay, you must have seen this ad of Flipkart Fashion with Alia Bhatt, right? Flipkart Fashion, this is an endorsement that he has. So Flipkart Fashion was an endorsement that Ranbir Kapoor was having. Lay's is also an advertisement on the occasion of World Smile Day. That's how you see the new Smile campaign of Lay's. He's the brand ambassador for Lay's also, along with Alia Bhatt again. Then Cadbury's Oreo, the Oreo biscuits that you have, right? Ranbir Kapoor is the brand ambassador for the same. You must have seen Asian Paints Ultima ad, right? Asian Paints Ultima Protect, where he's playing the role of a singer sometimes, right? So Asian Paints Ultima, that's also a product that Ranbir Kapoor advertises for. Lenovo is also a brand that he's known to be an ambassador for. Lenovo, as well as Pepsi. Of course, Pepsi has also been in his kitty. Renault, earlier it was Nissan, but please remember, now it's not Nissan anymore. Now he's endorsing for Renault. So please remember, these are certain companies that he is the brand ambassador for. Two of the most important endorsements are with Alia Bhatt, and the others also you can remember. Okay, all right. Amitabh Bachchan, of course, a very famous celebrity. He's a veteran Bollywood actor. He's been seen many a times as an important figure whose endorsements you usually see. He is, of course, you must have seen this entire firstcry.com. Because of his granddaughter Aradhya being of that age, he gets this endorsement for firstcry.com. So which is basically dealing with the clothes range for children. So firstcry.com is a brand that Amitabh Bachchan endorses. You must have seen certain ads also on television. So you can keep this in mind that firstcry.com is a brand endorsement that's there with Amitabh Bachchan. Along with that, he's of course seen as a brand ambassador for Kalyan Jewellers, that is with his wife as well as his daughter. So Kalyan Jewellers, that's with his wife as well as with his wife Jaya Bachchan and his daughter Shwetananda Bachchan. Okay, then Dabur is also a brand that Amitabh Bachchan endorses. Emami is a very important brand. Why? Because you know, Emami wants to say that if a 75-year-old person can use a skincare product like Emami, then all of you can also, right? Parker Pens, because in KBC he was signing the checks with the very famous Parker Pens, right? So Parker Pens. Gujarat Tourism. So please remember this also, Gujarat Tourism is also there. So Dabur, First Cry, Emami, Parker, Gujarat Tourism, Kalyan, these are certain brands that Amitabh Bachchan endorses. Okay, now Shah Rukh Khan is again an important case. Okay, now when you talk about Shah Rukh Khan, okay, Shah Rukh Khan at one point, see, this is an important case. Why? Because Shah Rukh Khan at one point used to have 40 brands under him. He used to endorse 40 brands and he used to charge a good amount per brand. Okay, for example, Deepika Padukone, it's believed that she charges 88 crore rupees per endorsement and 10 crore per movie. This is Deepika Padukone's rate, right? So he used to charge a lot of money. But now when you talk about Shah Rukh Khan, he is losing in his ratings because you know he hasn't really performed well on the box office. So there has been a dry spell. At the box office. None of his recent films have really done very well. So therefore it's rightly said many a times that he's no longer the Badshah of brands, right? Therefore he is no longer the Badshah of brands. He's no longer the Badshah of brands. He used to be the Badshah of brands at one time. Like I said, he was having 40 endorsements, but not now anymore, right? Because he's got a very dry spell at the box office also. So there has been a dip in his endorsements that you can see. There's a dip in Shah Rukh Khan's endorsements that you can actually see. But still, nevertheless, please remember some important endorsements that he's still having. Hyundai is one of them. So Hyundai, which is a car manufacturer, they still have him as the brand ambassador, right? A very important company that he's endorsing for currently is Byju's. Okay, now Byju's is a learning app. What is Byju's doing? Byju's is basically a learning app. Byju's, by the way, is also the sponsor of the Indian cricket team. Byju's is also the sponsor of Indian cricket team. Please remember this. Sponsor of the Indian cricket team. So Byju's is also sponsoring the Indian cricket team. Please remember this. And when you talk about Byju's had selected Shah Rukh Khan in 2017 as their brand ambassador, and within an year's time, Byju's became a unicorn. That's a big achievement for a startup. So please remember, it's not that Shah Rukh Khan's seen a dip in endorsements, that he is not doing really well, but the brands that he's endorsing are doing very well, which is a great thing for brands to always, like, you know, advertise. So please remember, once when Byju's selected him as a brand ambassador, the next year itself Byju's became a unicorn. Okay, so you can remember that. And of course he's very popularly marketing or endorsing Big Basket. Big Basket is also something that you would have seen him endorse. That's again a startup grocery delivery app, just like Grofers, right? So Big Basket, Hyundai, Byju's, these are certain products that Shah Rukh Khan is endorsing, which are important. So you can keep that in mind. Okay. Alright, Deepika Padukone is an important person when you talk about brands. Okay, please remember her current net worth is approximately, so when you talk about her current net worth in 2020, this is approximately 103 crore rupees, 103 crore, and she's one of the highest paid actresses currently in Bollywood, highest paid actor. Certain things that you definitely, certain brands that she's having in her kitty, we'll discuss that. She has approximately 2.6 million million followers on Twitter. 26.8 million followers. 26.8 million followers on Twitter. So she's definitely having that reach for which brands are looking for. You can remember that. Now let's just look at some brands that Deepika is having in her kitty. Okay, Britannia Good Days ad you must have seen, where she is she's basically seen as, like, you know, the daughter of a vendor, and what she does, she gives these Good Day biscuits to small little kids, right, who give her this paper boat. Okay, so Britannia Good Day is an endorsement that she's having. L'Oreal is also L'Oreal Paris, because you're worth it, right? That's also there. Tanishq is an endorsement that she has. Tanishq is an endorsement. Vistara, you must have seen these big posters of Deepika with Vistara Airlines. Vistara Airlines, a Tata Singapore Airlines initiative. It's one of the most comfortable domestic airline carriers that you have, right? Then Axis Bank, again, Axis Bank is another endorsement that she is having. So you can remember that Deepika Padukone, one of the highest paid actors in the Bollywood industry. Britannia, L'Oreal, Tanishq, Vistara, Axis Bank. These are some endorsements that she is having that you can definitely keep in mind. Okay, do keep these in mind. All right, Virat Kohli, again, very popular. Now, Virat Kohli is important, okay? Do keep this in mind because he's having a lot of endorsements that you definitely need to keep in your mind. So, when we talk about Virat Kohli, let's look at his endorsements, okay? Let's look at Virat Kohli. Now, one thing that you need to remember, Virat is very, very famous for, and people envy him, is for his Puma endorsement, right? With Puma, what he's done, in February 2017, Puma had signed Kohli, and Kohli became India's first ever sportsman to sign 110 crore. First ever Indian sportsman to sign 110 crore endorsement with a single brand. So what did he do? He had partnered. So Puma signed a contract with Virat Kohli for 110 crore with one single brand. Okay, and this agreement will end in 2025. Tentatively this will end in 2025. Okay, so one of the only important Indian sportsmen to sign such a huge amount of an endorsement deal with one single company. Otherwise, Indian cricketers or Indian sports people, they have endorsed products collectively, but not for a single brand. Okay, do remember that's also because, you know, he's considered to be the health mascot also. Okay, then of course you have Myntra, where he is seen with his wife Anushka. Myntra, you must have seen that ad where he's talking about fashion and he's there with Anushka in that ad. Myntra is your e-commerce website, right? So I'm sure all of you know about this. Myntra is your e-commerce fashion portal. This is your e-commerce fashion portal. So he is endorsing with Myntra also. Then Google Duo was also an advertisement that he done with Anushka. Google Duo was also an endorsement that he done. Volani, you must have seen his ad. Volani is a product of Sun Pharma's variant, Volani, Sun Pharma's variant, right? Then you must have seen him in the ad of 2Yum. This is a brand. 2Yum is a brand of Guilt Free Industries Limited. This is a brand of Guilt Free Industries Limited, right? 2Yum. Okay, then of course Manyavar was another product that he was endorsing, and he was earlier endorsing with his wife Anushka, but last year Anushka was replaced by Alia Bhatt. Okay, in the Mohe collection, Manyavar and Mohe collection, she was replaced. Okay, then American Tourister, the collection of bags that you have. American Tourister was there. Uber India, you must have seen this Uber India ad that he has been roped in as a brand ambassador for. Philips Trimmers, you must have seen, even with Valvoline, right? So these are certain brands that he has been endorsing. Please remember, he is also the brand ambassador for Audi India, and Audi was Audi Q7 was gifted to Virat Kohli. Okay, in 2000 and in 2017 it was gifted to him, so you can remember. So Myntra, Puma, Google Duo, Volany, Tuyam, Audi, Manyavar, American Tourister, Uber India, Philips Trimmers, Valvoline. These are all important endorsements that Virat Kohli has been having in his kitty. Okay, then of course we've got Alia Bhatt, very famous again. She's very young and still considered to be one of the brand icons, right? Fashion icons, as well as Bollywood celebrity icons. So she's of course endorsing many products. Now of course Lay's is a product that she's endorsing with Ranbir Kapoor. And please remember, on the occasion of the World Smiles Day, 4th of October is World Smiles Day. 4th of October is World Smile Day. World Smile Day. So on the occasion of World Smile Day, right, she was along with Ranbir Kapoor hired as a brand ambassador for Lay's. Okay, that's how you see the Lay's Smile campaign being conducted, right? Recently she replaced Anushka Sharma in the Manyavar Mohe. You must have seen that, you know, she was all around in the Manyavar Mohe lehenga of hers. So she was there in Manyavar Mohe. She's also the brand ambassador for Uber Eats. Uber Eats, okay, not Uber, but Uber Eats. Uber Eats is your global online food ordering and delivery platform. She's also the brand ambassador for Nokia. She's a brand ambassador for Nokia. Sunfeast Dark Fantasy is another brand that she endorses. So there is Sunfeast Dark Fantasy. You must have seen that ad of Sunfeast Dark Fantasy. Mango Fruity with Varun Dhawan. Mango Fruity is another advertisement that she's been seen in. She's a brand ambassador for. So you can remember that also. Mango Fruity is also a brand. Mango Fruity is also an endorsement that she has. Please remember, she played a role of an air hostess in Badrinath Ki Dulhania, and therefore Frank Finn hired her as their brand ambassador. Right, Frank Finn hired her as a brand ambassador. Mango Fruity, fresh and juicy, right? There again, she was seen as the brand ambassador. Then you have your Caprese Girl, right? Caprese Girl. This is bags. Ever since she started her career, she's been with Caprese. Lux and Sunsilk are also two brands that she's seen endorsing. Lux and Sunsilk are also two brands. Cornetto, very popular brand ambassador for Cornetto, right? Then Philips straighteners, you must have seen her in that ad. Garnier, say hello to Garnier Light. 1 week freshness and bright, right? That entire ad that plays. Flipkart fashion with Ranbir Kapoor. So Flipkart and Lay's are with Ranbir Kapoor, but otherwise Lay's, Manyavar Mohe, Uber Eats. Also Make My Trip. You must have seen with Ranveer Singh, Make My Trip. She's also the brand ambassador for Make My Trip. Okay, so Uber Eats, Manyavar Mohe, Nokia, Sunfeast Dark Fantasy, Mango Fruity, Frank Finn, Make My Trip. Oh my god, she has many. Cornetto, Philips, Garnier, Flipkart, all these are there when you talk about Alia Bhatt. Okay, so you need to keep these in mind. They're of course important. Okay, do keep these things in mind because they're definitely extremely crucial. Okay, now one more thing before we end today's session. I want you to look at this question that you had of international corporates and their taglines. Okay, international corporates and their taglines. Very important question, right? Let's just quickly look at this question. Shave time, shave money. Many people must have thought that it's save time, save money, but please remember that's not the correct answer. Let's just quickly look at this question because this question is important. A question. Shave time, shave money. So shave time, shave money. Shave time, shave money. This is an example of alliteration. Okay, alliteration, money. What is alliteration? Where you have, like, you know, words almost have like similar words with the same alphabet starting together, right? Shave time, shave money. It's not save time, save money. Shave time, shave money. This is the tagline for Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club. Please remember this. Next one's very simple. I'm loving it. So I'm sure all of you know that already. I'm loving it is the tagline for McDonald's. I'm loving it is a tagline for McDonald's, right? So here, as you can see, let's just look at this. I'm loving it is a tagline for McDonald's, right? I'm loving it becomes the tagline for McDonald's. Go further, very famous tagline of Ford. So you must have seen cars like Ford Endeavor, Ford EcoSport or EcoSport, right? So Ford is go further. Invented for life. Invented for life is Bosch. Invented for life is Bosch. Invented for life is Bosch. Okay, Bosch. Invented for life is Bosch. Every little helps. Every little helps. Every little helps is a tagline for Tesco. Every little helps is a tagline for Tesco. Every little helps is a tagline for Tesco. Okay, what is Tesco? Tesco is a UK supermarket behemoth. When you talk about Tesco, so whenever you talk about this company called Tesco, what is Tesco? Tesco is this UK supermarket. So if you've actually gone to UK, you would be able to see this. This is a UK supermarket behemoth. Behemoth means like a big giant, okay? So Tesco's tagline is every little helps. It's a beautiful tagline, right? You have other famous taglines also, like for example, Nokia, connecting people, right? Or Sony, make believe. Sony is make believe. Remember this. Subway, eat fresh. Subway, eat fresh. We keep on having from Subway, but we'll never remember what is the tagline. Eat fresh is the tagline, right? Subway is eat fresh, because they're just giving you vegetables, so they're like eat fresh. Okay, like Gillette, the best a man can get. You've got Gillette, the best a man can get. Or Nike, just do it is Nike, right? Okay, leading innovation is Toshiba. Leading innovation is Toshiba. When you talk about leading innovations, this is Toshiba. Imagination at work is GE. Imagination at work is GE. That's your General Electric. Your General Electric. Innovation and you, this is Philips. You must have seen it whenever even Alia is advertising for the straightener. Philips, innovation and you. Because you're worth it. Aishwarya Rai has said it many a times. This is for L'Oreal Paris. This is for L'Oreal Paris because you're worth it, right? This is for L'Oreal Paris because you're worth it. Inspire the next. This is Hitachi. Inspire the next. This is Hitachi. Okay, so do remember these are also very important. These are some brand endorsements, some brand taglines of international corporates. So do remember them. So this is Dollar Shave Club, Dollar Shave Club, Dollar Shave Club. So do remember all of these. These are crucial if in case there are certain doubts that you had. So over here we briefly looked at two things. We looked at some important brands that your celebrities were endorsing, and finally very briefly we looked at certain taglines for your international brands, right? If in case you have any doubts, you can definitely reconnect and try to clarify those. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome. Let's just quickly, very briefly look at your general awareness class assignment part 2. This is the current affairs part 2. Let's discuss these 5 questions that you can see. They are important questions. So do keep them in mind. They're important because they're trending important questions, and these are the kind of questions that get replicated in your exams. Okay, so be prepared with these kind of questions. They're important. Okay, and you'll come to know also why they're important, why they're relevant, why are they asking these kind of questions. We'll discuss that as well. Let's just quickly get started with your current affairs. You've got the first question. Who has been named as the first ever female president of Indian National Science Academy? So who has been named as the first ever female president of the INSA? All right, now 2 to 3 things that I want you to remember before we go further ahead. What is INSA? When we talk about INSA is your Indian National Science Academy. This is your Indian National Science Academy. This was established in 1935. Okay, this was established in 1935, January 1935 to be precise. And why was it set up? What was the reason? Why was it set up? There were 2 reasons. First of all, it wanted to promote science in India. It wanted to promote science in India, because this was a time when people were engaging in politics, because you had to free the nation. So they had to make sure that science was also getting promoted. So to promote science in India, they wanted to promote, INSA wanted to promote science in India, and they wanted to use science for the benefit of humanity. Use science for the benefit of humanity. Use science for the benefit of humanity. They wanted to use science for the benefit of humanity, Please remember this. This also becomes important. Now, INSA for the very first time elected a female president. And what is the name of that female president? When we talk about the female president, sorry, what's her name? Chandrima Saha. Okay, what is her name? Chandrima Saha is the correct answer. So you need to remember that INSA, that is your Indian National Science Academy. So what is INSA doing? It wants to promote science in our country. As well as use science for the benefit of humanity. So who became the first ever president? That was Chandrima Saha. Chandrima Saha is the correct answer. She became the first ever female president. She was also she's a biologist, and she was also vice president of INSA for a duration of time. Okay, now please remember, इस तरह के questions आपके लिए क्यों जरूरी हैं? Because women in science is an important topic. You need to remember, child, this becomes extremely crucial that you need to know about women in science. Women in science are, as it is, very limited, right? So there are questions being asked for the role of women and the role that they're playing in the field of science. For example, you have Gagandeep Kang. Okay, you've got this person called Gagandeep Kang. So women in science are important. Therefore, you've got your Chandrima Saha, the first female president of INSA, that is your Indian National Science Academy. Now, please remember, this is important. Women in science have been important. For example, you've got Gagandeep Kang. Gagandeep Kang is a person. Gagandeep Kang is the first woman to be elected as a fellow of the Royal Society. First woman to be selected as a member or fellow of the Royal Society. Royal Society was a society that was formed in 1660. It was looking at the pursuit of science development, right? So she's the first ever woman to be elected as a fellow, of the Royal Society. The fellow of the Royal Society. First ever woman to be elected as a fellow of the Royal Society. Or for example, I'm sure most of you must have even watched this entire movie. So when you're talking about Ritu Karidhal and M. Vanita, they were very important for your Chandrayaan mission. For your Chandrayaan 2 mission, they played a very key role, Ritu Karidhal and M. Vanita. So please remember, this entire question of women in science has always been very important, and you do get questions based on these, so you need to be aware about it. Okay, let's look at the second question. Which of these films has won the Best Feature Film Award at the National Film Awards 2018. Now most of us will think, oh, it's Uri, but the correct answer is Hilaro. Alright, Hilaro is the correct answer. Please remember, you need to know about Filmfare Awards. You need to know about your National Film Awards. They're important. Okay. Alright, when do we observe the World Biofuel Day? World Biofuel Day is celebrated every year on the 10th of August. And why are you celebrating this? You're celebrating this because you want to create awareness about the importance of non-fossil fuels, right? What do you want to do? You want to create awareness. And what do you want to create awareness about? You want to create awareness about importance of non-fossil fuels. You want to create awareness about non-fossil fuels, right? That's how you are celebrating the World Biofuel Day, and that's celebrated on 10th of August every year. Okay, so it's trying to highlight the importance of using non-fossil fuels. Okay, which of the following city traffic police recently unveiled a 3D traffic signal? 3D traffic signal was unveiled in Mohali. Okay, this is there, so you can remember, this is important. Otherwise, also when you talk about traffic rules, development and traffic rules, Mohali, Chandigarh, they've been very proactive, right? For example, honking is banned. You cannot use dipper. You cannot use high beam lights. They're very particular about all these things. So when you talk about transportation and the reforms that are taking place, mostly Chandigarh and Mohali, they've been the epicenter. So you can always go for them. They're a safe bet. Okay, the fifth question, which of these companies will acquire the Google-backed online platform Find? Now, Find is important because this is a startup that is connecting the brick and mortar retailers with the online stores, right? So, there are these online stores which are there, and people who are having shops, brick and mortar, they are having shops. So, Find is trying to connect these online people who are selling things online and people who have shops. They are connecting. Find is a company that is collecting. It's a Maharashtra-based startup. Okay. And Find was recently acquired by Reliance. Reliance took over 87% of Find's share. So you can remember that like Reliance Industries Limited, they have acquired Google-backed online platform Find. Your mergers and acquisitions are as it is very important. Do keep them in mind because they definitely will be 2 to 3 questions based on mergers and acquisitions, particularly if you're preparing for your management-related entrances, right? So this was a brief look at your General Awareness Assignment Part 2, Current Affairs Part 2, which has 5 questions. If in case you have any doubts, please let us know. So remember, Women in Science become important for you. Your important national awards are important, days are important, which we've been discussing. Any new development in the field of initiatives or rules is important. Any mergers or acquisitions, they are important. So these are the kind of news that will usually be asked in your entrances, so be prepared for them. Thank you so much. Right, do keep this in mind. If in case you have any doubts, please feel free and let us know about it. But make sure that you are understanding this concept properly. Make sure that you are revising as thoroughly as possible, because you will definitely get questions that will be based on parent companies. Okay, so do keep this in mind. And like I said, if in case you have any concerns, if in case you have any problems, you can definitely reconnect and let us know about it. But do keep these things in mind. Hindustan Unilever, Procter & Gamble, Godrej Group, Berkshire Hathaway Group, these are all important. These are all important parent companies whenever you're talking about parent companies and their products. Thank you.